A driver swap and a team principal leaving, all happening at Alpine in the last 24 hours. It's emergency pod time. This is Nailing the Apex, and I'm Tim Hauraney. Jack Doohan has been replaced by Franco Colapinto for the next 5 races, starting in Imola next weekend. Alpine confirmed all of that around 3 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. We said this was going to be coming about 4 to 5 races in before the season began, but Doohan got at least 6 races in before the swap came. I'd heard that Jack would have until summertime, but it could be that once Colapinto's backing was in place and came through and the struggles of Doohan, that could have been the mixture that put this swap across the line, but that is a very small detail, and I think in a very larger story that has been playing out at Alpine. Let's start with Jack. Certainly had some performance issues. There's no question about that, but I'm not sure 6 Grand Prix is a big enough sample size. Rookies, I believe, need time because everyone learns differently. Doohan knew he was under pressure with that seat as soon as Colapinto was signed on as the reserve driver. I feel sorry for Jack because, again, I feel he should have had much longer in that seat. Just don't feel like we were given enough. Don't feel that he was given enough. I just kind of feel like he should have had some more seat time. Former team principal Oliver Oakes said that Jack did bring a lot to the team and worked well with everyone. His feedback was always on point from what I was told, and it seemed like each weekend he was making a step. I think he got within 0.3 of Gasly on a more consistent basis. And for not a lot of time spent in the race car, I think that's pretty damn good. I mean, Pierre is no slouch. He is a Grand Prix winner, extremely talented. However, you had the mishap from Jack in Japan with leaving the DRS open, turning into turn 1. Had a lap 1 incident or crash, I guess. He crashed out, I should say, in Australia and again in Miami with Liam Lawson. But, Doohan did show, however, some good speed at moments throughout his 6 race weekend stints. And that's why we were led to believe that he'd be in the seat until at least summertime. Again, it's hard to measure, what he is doing with the likes of what Kimi Antonelli has been doing. Antonelli has been extremely impressive. I think Miami for Antonelli was that was a huge weekend for Kimi. And how impressive also the other rookies have been, like Isaac Hajar, who has been very impressive, crashed out on the opening laps in Australia, or I shouldn't even say opening laps. He crashed out on the formation lap in Australia, but he has been impressive. So too is Gabriel Bortoleto, also has done a very good job and has pushed Nico Hulkenberg a lot. And Hulkenberg's also commented on that as well. I think, what does this do with the consistency within the team when you're swapping drivers out? As Alpine is starting, and the engineers who are working hard behind the scenes at Alpine, as they're learning Jack's learning them, and they're creating a relationship, and that relationship will grow with the more time they work together, which speeds up so many little processes that we don't see from watching on television and we don't necessarily hear about on race broadcast. Because essentially, the more that relationship gets built between driver and engineer, the faster things become in terms of setup changes and understanding what the driver really likes when they jump into the car for FP1. So you're not starting so far behind. You're starting from a place where the two of you know each other well and can start from a place of power and then just basically refine everything throughout the weekend. You're not starting from a place of, what does this guy like? Does he like it when the car does this? Does he like it when the car does that? So there's a lot of other processes that we don't necessarily get to see. However, I do understand because I was a driver, so I get it. At the same time, when you look at all of this, and we'll get into Oliver Oaks and Flavio Briatore in a minute, but I just think we should really discuss Jack as a rookie and the reserve driver duties that he'd done in the past. Is that enough experience to say, hey, this guy should be given a handful of races and we'll know what he's all about? Not necessarily, because he was under a lot of pressure with that seat at the same time. And I think that when it comes to putting someone under that type of a pressure, it can change things for the driver. It can allow them to have way more stress than probably what they need, at the same time. Now, was Jack always being put under pressure? Whatever. Was he kept away from social media? I mean, those are things that I just do not know. I just don't. But I can say that Ollie Oaks was impressed with him, and the two of them liked each other and got on well. Doohan said in a quote today that was released by Alpine, said, quote, "I'm very proud to have achieved my lifelong ambition to be a professional Formula One driver, and I will forever be grateful to the team for helping me achieve this dream. Obviously, this latest chapter is a tough one for me to take because as a professional driver, naturally, I want to be racing. That said, I appreciate the team's trust and commitment. We have long-term goals as a team to achieve, and I will continue to give my maximum efforts in any way I can to help achieve those. For now, I will keep my head down, keep working hard, watch with interest the next 5 races, and keep chasing my own personal goals." Well said.
So Tim's been in Miami all weekend around shiny cars, and Tim, it makes us think about cleaning our own cars and how important that is, because a cleaner car goes faster. That's just the reality of it.
Getting waxy, Adam.
That's right.
We're getting waxy.
And that's why we both use silver wax on our cars. Now, I have a truck, but listen, it's still important that the truck looks good. Tim, I think one of the things that I love about this, beyond their absolute care promise, which is basically makes caring for your car as easy going as possible. Because in the past you used to use cleaning products and they'd be like really finicky. Oh, if you use this and if it's not between these two temperatures, it's going to screw up your paint. Like, that's not silver wax at all. It makes it easy and it makes you look real good.
Mm-hmm.
And you should check out the Nano Diamond Ceramic Quick Wax, and for your RVs, for your ATVs, for all that stuff, insect remover, especially on your boats. Because this time of year, people are pulling their boats back out, and you might want to use that spray. So Silver Wax takes absolute care of your car. Find Silver Wax products at your local Canadian Tire at silverwax.ca. Use the promo code, are you ready for this? SDPN10.
Good Canadian company, Adam.
That's right. Since 1999, SDPN10 to get 10% off your order at silverwax.ca now.
I think as a professional driver, that's the best sort of quote you can kind of give, really, when you've been swapped out of your seat. Speaking of that swap, Franco Colapinto, who's going to be jumping in. Alpine is saying that this is a driver rotation, and Colapinto will get the next 5 races to show what he can do. So now there's a triple header coming up. If there was a time to make a driver swap, I think this is probably the right time to do it. Because if you didn't do it now, then I think you would really have to wait until the summertime before doing it. That being said, I mean, the tracks that are coming up aren't totally straightforward. However, Franco has experience at them. Imola, Monaco, Spain. So this isn't going to be territory that he's never been to. It's not like he's coming to Canada. He's never been there. Well, I mean, he will be coming to Canada after Spain, and that will be a track that he doesn't know. But, however, Colapinto had a decent 9 races in 2024 when he came in to replace Logan Sargent at Williams, scored 5 points, which not too bad, but also had some really big crashes as well, and some few head scratching moments at the same time. I think it was the crashes that may have had other teams, sour on him a bit, but Alpine and Williams and Franco able to get an agreement put in place back in January to bring Franco over from Williams. I thought that Franco was impressive when he was parachuted into Williams, though. Now he's having to do the same sort of thing here, but he has 5 races to kind of figure it out, iron things out. So a lot on his shoulders as well coming into the seat. A lot of pressure on both of these very young drivers. And we'll see how Franco gets on. Again, really good talent as well, as same with Jack. Very tough spot for both of them to be in. This isn't Franco's fault. I mean, if there's a drive there, you got to take it. That's just the way the sport works. So let's see how he does. I think Franco's a very great talent. I think the same of Jack. I think Jack's a very good talent too. I just think he needed a bit more time. And who knows? Maybe he will get that time, right? I mean, maybe he will get swapped back in. We don't know at this moment. Well, let's just wait and see how Franco carries on. Question from Andrew. He asks, does Franco really make the second car more competitive than it has been? I mean, I think the team has a competitive car. I think the team feels that they have a car that can score points. I mean, the margins are very small this season, so I think you can't have too many mistakes when the field is so bunched up together, because one little mistake can put you out of the points real easily and real quickly. I think Pierre's done a decent job as well, and I think that bringing Franco in, I don't necessarily think it's going to make the second seat more competitive, because Franco's going to have to learn and understand the car. I mean, Franco could come in and absolutely, be a rock star and do a great job, right? I mean, that is something that could happen. However, it does take time, and Franco's going to need that time to learn the car as best as possible, making sure that there are no mistakes when he jumps into free practice 1, and there are no mistakes when he gets into free practice 2, free practice 3, because those are huge seat time learning moments that he's really going to have to dig into. Okay, so those are going to be very important sessions for him. Come Imola, he'll have spent a lot of time in the sim up until that point. However, the sim and the racetrack, they are two different things. But maybe these two things are related, and maybe they aren't. But this driver change news comes on the heels of the news I got from Alpine the day before. So on Tuesday, that Oliver Oakes had resigned with immediate effect from his position as team principal at Alpine. Executive advisor Flavio Briatore will fill in and cover not only his own duties, but those that are also were performed by Oakes as well. Here's what I received from Alpine. Pull it up and read it to you. This is a team statement that I'd gotten. It says, quote, BWT Alpine Formula One team announces that Oliver Oakes has resigned from his role as team principal. The team has accepted his resignation with immediate effect. As of today, Flavio Briatore will continue as advisor and will also be covering the duties previously performed by Oliver Oakes. The team would like to thank Oliver for his efforts since he joined last summer and for his contribution in helping the team secure sixth place in the 2024 Constructors Championship. The team will not be making any further comment. It was a bit of a shock as Oaks seemed to be doing quite a good job with the team. I spoke with Oliver on Friday last week. Things seemed to be good, and he mentioned that the drivers were always their drivers were always being evaluated, but did reaffirm that Jack would be racing in Imola. Oaks was due to take part in a Miami Grand Prix post-race scrum, so on the Sunday, and at the last minute, it was canceled by the team. I didn't really think anything of it at the time, as from time to time, these scrums, they do get canceled, as team principals may be late for a flight or had to get out of there to catch their flights, etc. But the team was a bit shocked themselves that Oaks just picked up and left the team, and they were informed late Tuesday night as well. But if you were to look at the news that was swirling around the team on Tuesday, with Doohan being swapped out for Colapinto, then one would assume that the sudden departure from the team was a response to Briatore wanting to swap those drivers. I mean, Oliver did like Jack and thought he just needed some time. And you have to remember, like, Oliver was a former racing driver himself, and a damn good one too, I might add. He was in Formula BMW the years that I was racing in Formula Renault, and so I knew of him. So Oaks knew the difficulties that surrounded a rookie stepping into F1, but there could be other things at play behind the scenes at the team, and maybe he stepped down because he couldn't really be a true team principal. So a lot of speculation around all of those stories. And those two stories may actually not be related. Briatore shot down those rumors early on Wednesday by saying, quote, on Oliver Oaks's resignation, a lot has been said in the past 24 hours incorrectly associating the decision of Ollie resigning to an alleged disagreement or that we share different views. This is completely false and far from the truth. Me and Ollie have a very good relationship and had long-term ambitions to drive this team forward together. We respect Ollie's request to resign and have therefore accepted his resignation. The reasons are not related to the team and are of a personal nature. I will continue to be more and more involved with the team together with the strong management we already have in place. We will work hard on improving our position this season and preparing for 2026. Oaks also put out a statement as well, and that reads, quote, "It's been a privilege to lead everyone at Enstone. What a team, what a place. It is a personal decision for me to step down. Flavio has been like a father to me, nothing but supportive since I took the role, as well as giving me the opportunity. Everyone is in place for 2026 and where this dream deserves to be. I believe in Enstone," end quote. Oaks was just recently named team principal last summer by the team and was working for them in August in 2024. I mean, he joins a big list of some other really heavy hitters that have left the team in years past. I mean, I went through some of it. I'm probably missing some, but I went through and collected all the names. And this may sound like a revolving door here, but these are the top executives that have left the team in the last, I want to say 7 years. So Cyril Biddable, Marcin Budkowski, Alain Prost, Laurent Rossi, Otmar Safnauer, Bruno Famin, and some other key technical talent. So we can add these names to the list as well. And Pat Fry, Matt Harmon, and Alan Permain. So some pretty big names there from this team that have left. Those are very, very big names in the sport of Formula One. That pretty much does it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Adam and I should be back next Monday with a new episode of Nailing the Apex.